Cellulose. So what's the first thing you have in your mind when you hear the word cellulose? What the term means to you? When we try to remember cellulose, so from our classes in biology, we remember that cellulose is the main component of stems and leaves in a plant. So cellulose are found majorly in plants. So it's the chief structural material of cell walls of all the plants. It is the chief component. It is seen majorly in wood, cotton, jute. Okay. You'll be surprised by one figure that in case of cotton that we all use, the cotton is made 90 to 95%, it contains cellulose. Okay, so now come some of the properties of cellulose. What are the properties? Before properties, the first thing comes is the formula. The formula should have a minimum monomer formula into N. So the formula looks like C6H10O5N. This formula is just the same as the formula of starch. The formula is same. So if we see the properties, is that the first property always has to be what on hydrolysis. So on hydrolysis, so using enzyme emulsion or using enzyme cellulase, these two are enzymes which can hydrolyze cellulose to give D-glucose. Okay. The second one comes the structure of cellulose. So in the case of starch, we saw that the starch has two main components. The first component is a linear structure. The second component has a branch structure. The first component is called as amylase. The second component is called as amylopectin. In case of cellulose, we again see that cellulose also has a structure formed using a linear combination of all the small molecules. But in the case of starch, we saw one thing, that in the case of starch we used alpha D glucose, whereas in the case of cellulose we have to use beta D glucose. So it is a linear condensation polymer. We are using this term because when you have to form a molecule of cellulose, you have to add small molecules of D-glucose. When you add them, you have to some molecules of H2O has to go out. So when the H2O is going on, this process is known as condensation. So it is a linear polymer of beta D glucose. And in the case of amylose, we saw that the oxygen at the C1 atom attached with the C4. So over here also we have the same thing. The C1 combines with C4 using a glycosidic linkage. Okay, And in this case, this bond is known as beta D glycosidic linkage. Okay, now comes the structure of cellulose. So suppose you have to draw the structure of cellulose. The first thing you have to start from is the structure of beta D glucose. So I'll just draw the structure. It looks like this. You have to first draw 4 horizontal lines. First draw 4 horizontal lines. On the top you have an aldehyde, primary alcohol. This is a, so OH has to be here, H, OH has to be there, then OH same way, OH, OH. This oxygen combines with the first one. This, okay, this is wrong. OH over here, H over here, and on the top you have OH and H. Okay, so this is the formula of beta D glucose. This is the Fischer formula. Now you have to draw the Haworth formula. When I draw the Haworth formula, simply make a ring of 6 atoms. When the ring is made, draw vertical lines. These atoms on the top, OH, H, HOH, OH, HOH, and this on the top, CH2OH and H. Okay, so that's the Haworth structure of beta D glucose. Now I'll draw one more. Draw a molecule over here. This molecule looks like this: oxygen, HOH, CH2OH, HOH, HOH, OH, and I'll draw one more over here. OH, HOH, OH, HOH, CH2OH and H. Okay. Now you have to form bonds between C1 and C4. So what happens is that you have to just remove one OH, one hydrogen, and form a bond like this. In a similar way, remove one molecule of H2O and form a bond like this. So this is the linear structure of cellulose. This bond is known as beta D glycosidic bond. Simple. Okay, now I will ask you something. This is, why is cellulose not digestible for humans? So you see one thing, that's cellulose. For example, if you take plants or take grass, the grass contains huge amount of cellulose. We are not able to completely digest grass, whereas cow, sheep, goat, all of them are. So the reason for this is that for the hydrolysis of cellulose, to convert cellulose into glucose, you need an enzyme. This enzyme is known as cellulase. But in human body, we don't have this enzyme cellulase. So as we don't have the enzyme, we are not able to convert cellulose into glucose. Whereas in the case of these animals, they have cellulase as an enzyme in their body. So they are able to get energy from cellulose. So that's the reason why we don't eat grass.
Thank you for watching. Visit us at needbook.in.